Welcome back to the Gridiron Goons podcast.
Let's go.
As always, I'm your host, Brandon. I'm with Preacher.
What up?
I'm with Sean O'Mac.
What up?
Before we get started into this, I know I'm a couple weeks late. I get it. But I got to shout out my boy Tristan Wirfs. Finally got his contract because, he showed up to work, went to training camp, and continued to ball.
Are you talking about things we're going to talk about in this episode?
I am.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, 5 years, $140 million, which makes him the highest paid offensive lineman in NFL history. And if there's anybody that deserves it, it is that man right there. Thank you, Tristan Wirfs.
I'm taking him number one in our fantasy draft. I know you can't take offensive linemen, but if you could, I'm taking him.
Dude, I don't know how you're going to get him if I'm going to get him.
Let's not forget about Trent Williams.
We'll get to that later. Anyway.
You got anybody else you got to shout out here, bud? Before we get rolling here today?
Yes, I
Who?
do.
Who do you got?
Brandon Ayuk. Please come to work. I don't know about you guys, but isn't it getting tedious? And it's like a whole bunch of nothing's happening.
I gave my Grant rant episode 1 about these holdouts.
I think we just need to get right into it. Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, huge holdouts. One's a hold in, so he doesn't get fined and everything. What do we have to say about those two guys?
I think come week 1, I think CD is on the field. I think it gets done.
What about Jamar Chase?
I do not. I have literally heard nothing about Jamar Chase.
None.
If they're talking, his people's talking with the Bengals people, nothing.
One thing about CD is there's been a whole bunch of news about CD. Remember, he said he doesn't need to make that Justin Jefferson money.
Yes.
He said that. He just wants to be close. So when we get into guaranteed money and incentive money, that kind of gets a blur, right? We're just looking at big picture. Justin Jefferson is going to make $35 million a year. Okay.
Right.
They offered CeeDee Lamb 33. If that's not close, I don't know what is. Is he holding out because he wants $1 more million?
He wants 34.
Don't you think that's just a little wimpy? Like,
It's petty.
it's actually just bullshit, to be honest. Like,
If that's the case.
if it is the case. So if everything we're getting is true fact.
Actual factuals.
Actual factuals. It's honestly just stupid.
I think the CeeDee Lamb, will get done at the end of the day. It may not be pretty, but I think it will get done. The one that for me is Jamar Chase. Because Jamar Chase is such an interesting... What are you even really holding in for? You're holding in for really no reason at all. We also have a T. Higgins on the same team,
On the
same page, and one's gonna ask for a little bit less than the other one. And I get from the perspective you probably want Jamar Chase on your roster, but if you want to save a little money, would you rather go with T. Higgins and say, Jamar Chase, hey, you know what? You're an injury risk to our team. You're wanting to hold in or hold out. Are you worth the financial risk to pay you the bag you want? Or are we willing to say, hey, Jamar Chase, you know what? Here's the open market. Figure out if you can find a place to go, and we'll ship you off.
So I was thinking between these three wide receivers, I think it's interesting how CD and the Ayuk's getting covered, but you think about it, really haven't heard nothing about Chase.
I've heard nothing.
And I believe this to be that between the three of them, I treat them like dominoes. I think as soon as that first deal gets done, they're going to see what... I think one of them is going to be the pedestal to what money they're all looking for.
Do you think it's going to be something similar to the quarterback thing we saw with Herbert, Hurts, and Burrow. Like, bing, bing, bing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think CD's going to be the first one, and I think as soon as that deal's done, they're going to fall right in place.
Are you sure Ayuk's not going to the Steelers?
That is still heavy talk.
I get it, but I would have thought the Steelers wanted him. They would have had him by now, so he can get him practice and get some reps in the new system.
So
I mean, sorry to cut you off, but I mean, we did read the tweet before we went on air of Shefty saying that Shanahan saying there's no movement on Williams or Ayuk at the current moment. So I think the longer we get with no news, especially on Ayuk, the more and more I think a trade is inevitable. Because if I'm looking from the San Francisco side of the coin, I want Ayuk on the field. Mm-hmm. But if I'm week one, if I'm looking at next week, 2 weeks from now, I'm rolling in like...
Oh,
I'd rather get him off my roster, get the space gone, and get the cap space. I'm going to then sign Trent Williams because I got the extra capital to sign Trent Williams. And Ayuk's now, the problem child is out of my roster.
Yeah. And after Sunday night, I really, really want that Williams deal done.
You don't like the image?
No, not at all. But I think as soon as that first wide receiver gets a deal done, I think they're just going to fall into place.
I'm not going to sit here and disagree with you, and I know you might kind of take this to heart, but if CD gets signed, and let's say it's the exact same contract as Jefferson, $35 million a year, we've seen what happened with quarterbacks. It just keeps going up and up and up.
Yeah.
If Ayuk is getting paid more than Jefferson and CD,
no,
that is not worth it. I'm not saying he's not a great player, but he is not Justin Jefferson CD great. Now, is Jamar on that same pedestal? For me, yes. I know the, risk of injury.
For Jamar, yes.
Yes. I know the risk of injury is higher. Skill. He has top 3 skill. It's that simple.
I get that, but my concern with Jamar Chase, and I've always been a little bit lower on Jamar Chase. Mm-hmm. I think he's shown the potential, but he hasn't produced that potential. And when we talk about Jamar Chase being like top 3, top 5, and he still slots around that 8 to 12 category, I think that's really where the question is from a fantasy perspective. But then if you're looking at the actual side of it, it is all about numbers. Stats matter, but numbers matter too. My question now is we're right up upon draft season. I know our draft is this upcoming weekend. You got guys drafted next weekend. For Chase, CD, Williams, Ayuk, what's your feeling on that? You're at the 2 slot.
I'm not going to hesitate to pick Lamb.
Okay.
I won't hesitate to pick Ayuk. The one I'm most worried about is Chase, because it's like it got swept under a rug, but it's still there.
I'm hearing you. So I have what Preacher was saying was I do have the second pick in our league that we're actually going to be covering on the podcast.
I got the first pick.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
Is that a different? That's a different.
That's
my
a
apology.
different league. There,
I'm
bud.
sorry, Preach.
I got him.
I'm sorry,
dude. Grow up.
My bad. Hey, that's on me. That's on me.
We know.
Anyhow.
So I have the second pick. So you gotta assume we're gonna talk about this later, but you gotta assume Preacher is gonna take his happy ass to San Francisco and grab C-Mac, right? So now I'm faced with holdout CD, Justin Jefferson with no quarterback, or Tyreek Hill, which is now also questionable. What the hell is the second pick this year? I'm sick of it. It's too much. It's too much to deal with.
Second pick go Rachaad White.
You know what, dude? F*** you. How about that? I'm about sick of you. Anyway, all I'm saying is right now we're about to get into it. We're about to get into the nitty gritty.
So anyhow,
get on
let's
with
get
it.
with it. So CMC, the presumable number one pick this upcoming Saturday in our draft, calf injury still says questionable. Do we think that's a persistent thing? Also, the good news is week 1 they play at home against the Jets and not at MetLife.
Yeah.
So that might save
There should
him.
be no hesitation taking C-Mac still.
I have
Number 1 overall.
I have a problem. So it's better that it's his calf. Lower leg injuries tend to heal better and quicker than upper leg injuries. Like anytime I see running back with hamstring next to it, it's like, get him off my team. I don't want him. Because it lingers all year long. Look at Aaron Jones last year. Had the monster week 1 performance. Like 22 points or something stupid. And he hurt his hamstring mid-game. And he was never the same until what? Week 12, 13?
Yeah, it was
Finally came back balling? No.
All right, so we got CMC. In Cleveland, we have Njoku, undisclosed injury, questionable week 1. Nick Chubb, ACL, MCL, still issues on the pup. So
3 to 4, right?
3 to 4
Yep.
weeks at least. In Cleveland, is that deterring anybody? Nick Chubb obviously isn't, premier running back, but are you optimistic about taking him? We know he's...
You know what? At his current ADP, I think it's like running back 27, 28.
If you can get him for good value.
If you can get him at good value, just the ceiling is there.
Right.
The floor is also there. Like, don't get me wrong. He is a very boomer bust kind of guy in this scenario we're talking about. But we know when he comes back fully healthy, Jerome's taking a back seat. Mm-hmm. We already know that. So, Chubb's ceiling is as high as McCaffrey's. Let's be honest with each other. Because 2 years ago, we were talking who's the better running back in the league, Chubb or McCaffrey. So, if you have 2 solid running backs on your team, and you're picking up your third, pick up Chubb.
Yeah.
Because if something happens to one of your 2 and he comes back and he's the same guy he was, you didn't miss a beat. And you got him at such a steal, it doesn't matter.
Njoku, are we...
I'm not high on him, so I won't speak on
Okay.
it.
All right, so let's go to...
Damn.
Well, let's go to the team that Cleveland's facing in week 1 is Dallas. We already talked about the CD holdout.
Yep.
Brandon Cooks, knee injury, questionable week 1.
That's something to watch, especially with the...
Dude, it's crazy. So you're going to tell me they're going to go in there with wide receiver 1, Tolbert? Like, that's who's going to be catching the ball week 1?
Rico Dowdle.
Oh, God.
Thank you.
It's always back
Yes.
to Rico Dowdle.
Rico Dowdle.
I'm about sick
Yes.
of hearing that
Back to
dude's
Rico
name.
Dowdle.
What about Deuce Vaughn? Just throw his name in there.
Rico Dowdle.
Got
Rico
it.
Dowdle all the way. But anyhow, so Brandon Cooks, like, what is this? We talked about the CD, Brandon Cooks. Like, what is that correlation? Are you concerned either way? Are you taking Cooks on the chance that this knee injury isn't actually that bad? He plays week 1, CD holds out? Are you, like, when we're talking about the wide receivers here, there's not that many. Are you maybe reaching a little bit on Cooks?
Here's the
not?
thing. So, if you're taking Cooks, for one, in a normal scenario, that is a maybe flex spot, right? That's a bench player. But with CD holding out, that's a wideout 2 slot for some teams.
Mm-hmm.
Like, give me, obviously, my elite guy, but if CD holds out or gets traded, I would take him immediately, Brandon Cooks.
Cooks, absolutely.
Immediately. Because they would just put Cooks Where Lamb was that West Coast style offense that I talked about a couple weeks ago. The ball comes out so fast that pressure can't get to Dak. And as long as he can run an almost okay route, he's going to be money. The only difference is CD's one of the best receivers in the league, as we've talked about. But if Cooks can put up a slightly above average skill set, he will look like a wide receiver one.
Right. Shifting gears to the NFC North. The Detroit Lions. Sam Laporta, hamstring injury, questionable week 1. Jahmyr Gibbs, hamstring injury, questionable week 1.
A lot of fantasy factors there.
What I say earlier about hamstrings.
Linger. They linger.
No, thank you.
I mean, but I think this question morphs more for the fantasy perspective for Detroit as the whole. Detroit has plenty of defensive players that are on the hurt,
falling like flies.
I guess the question is for Detroit. Are you a little concerned about taking not only Sam Laporta, but are you concerned about taking Jahmyr Gibbs? Is that better than is better to take?
Fire up Montgomery.
I was going to say, give me Montgomery.
You know,
I will reach for Montgomery now.
Right. I mean, are you a little bit? I know. Redraft Sam Laporta. It might be. I feel like you still got to take Sam Laporta.
Yes, but I'm not taking him first.
Right. But it's just like I feel like you still have to acknowledge for what he is because, I know you talked about the hamstring, but what if this is just a thing that does heal itself? Like, I almost feel like he is worth taking the risk on. I'm not taking him number 1 off the board of my tight end, but if I'm like looking at like tight end 3, maybe tight end 4, if he's still there, I feel like that's
I'm grabbing him.
I'm taking
him. But anyhow, so they've got a whole host of, like I said, defensive issues. Is that maybe a concern from the offensive side of the ball?
Yes,
because
they can't be as aggressive.
Right. So, what's your over/under on reaching for a guy from Detroit?
Well,
like Amon-Ra St. Brown, are you backing off a little bit, or are you still judging it for?
To be honest, it'd be the same for Amon-Ra.
Yeah,
I would
first round.
I would reach through the ceiling to get Montgomery. Catch my dumb ass taking him in like the 5th.
Are you taking him second?
No.
Montgomery's already good when Gibbs is healthy.
Absolutely, and he's going to get most of the goal line touches unless it's a pass. But with Gibbs out of the picture for presumably what could be a couple weeks, Montgomery's numbers are going to go through the absolute sky. I don't know. I just know that I would definitely reach for Montgomery at this point.
All right. Josh Downs, Indianapolis Colts. Not a huge thing, obviously, because Pittman's there. Then you got Jonathan Taylor in the backfield and Anthony Richardson, which probably will just run the ball instead of throw it. But Josh Downs, ankle injury, questionable week 1 against Houston. That's a big matchup right there, week 1.
Big divisional matchup.
I think this is, divisional opponents. They came down the wire last year.
Yep.
Do you think he would? Do you think he'll be available in that game? Do you think they're gonna maybe play it a little cautionary because it's such a big game, week 1?
I think he's gonna be out there.
I think so too. It is an ankle injury, but usually they heal pretty well.
Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about it, with Richardson back, that's gonna be a shootout, bro.
I've seen a lot of videos on Facebook and stuff lately talking about how don't take Pittman. It's, you're getting honeypotted if you take him because we don't know what it's like, Pittman and Anthony Richardson. And I'm like, what do you mean? The 2.5 games that Richardson played, his numbers were way up there.
Don't take him, so I can.
Yeah, don't take him.
I'm taking him.
I'll take him. Christian Kirk, Jacksonville, calf injury. I presumptively probably more towards the number one wide receiver. That's why I feel like Christian. I would still take him.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be too concerned. Number 4, wide receiver in the league last year.
Yeah.
Puka Nacua. Knee injury, questionable, week 1.
I mean, do we know the extent of this knee injury?
I don't, but
Until I hear otherwise, I'm going to take him.
Let me just say this. Reports out of training camp. I'm not saying I'm right because we're not here yet.
timestamp it. As we record this, 6:17 on Tuesday, August 20th. Go ahead.
Listen to me. Reports out of training camp. Cooper Kupp has the offense running through him and him only. He has taken the role back as wide out one, like I said weeks ago.
You're breaking this like you're Adam Schefter or something.
I'm telling you right now, Cooper Kupp, his ADP is like 40. Reach for Kupp. I'm not on the Puka train. We've been over this. But I'm telling you, the offense runs through Kupp. He is fully healthy. Everybody was upset that he had a down year last year when he was hurt in the preseason. And he had multiple injuries throughout the season.
Yeah.
What was it last year? I believe it was a hamstring. But anyway, he is going to be that guy again. I believe in Kupp. I don't believe in Nacua. Especially with this injury, they're going to treat him a little different. You heard it here first. You heard it from me.
Are you going to take him in the first round?
No. Because no one else will, so I'll wait for him and reach for him in the third.
All right. So,
Go ahead.
wow.
Go ahead.
Breaking news.
It's not necessarily...
Breaking news.
What the hell does that
I
mean?
don't know. Anyhow, Miami Dolphins. This one was intriguing when I was looking at this. Tyreek Hill, hand injury, questionable week 1. OBJ, undisclosed injury on the pup, 4 weeks. Jalen Waddle, undisclosed injury, questionable week 1.
Anyone that lives in Miami, go up to the stadium and do a tryout if you can catch a ball.
What does this mean? What do we think it means? Is this like sell all the hatch? Don't take anybody? Is this we're focusing on running backs and?
I think out of Miami, we weren't really focused. I don't really think anyone was focused on taking OBJ.
No.
So I would just be worried about Waddle.
Right. I'm just saying, like, OBJ is there. Not that you...
You know he's never taken a snap in practice.
Really?
OBJ. Never once.
Interesting.
Brand new offense.
He had one catch.
Still on the pup. Irrelevant. But anyhow, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. What are we doing? Are we feeling confident that it's not that big of a deal? Waddle's undisclosed.
What is Hill's?
Hand injury.
I'm still taking Hill.
Yeah. Yeah.
Waddle undisclosed. Are we pumping the brakes?
I gotta wait and see what it is.
Okay.
Here's one of my things, though, is, we're almost talking about so many injuries. Shouldn't we just draft like they're not there? The injuries and the holdouts?
Probably.
Because there's so many. It's like, if you don't play fantasy football risky, are you going to win your league? No. The safe bets work, but they're not going to win you a league.
Well, let's talk about more teams. We're talking about a lot of players. Running back, hamstring and a back injury in Nolans. Kendre Miller, hamstring, questionable week 1. Alvin Kamara, back injury, questionable week 1. Taysom Hill? Is he going to slide over from tight end to running back?
He was playing running back Saturday.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Taysom Hill is maybe one of those fantasy late round pickup that's like a Swiss Army knife.
So dude does quarterback, tight end, wide receiver, and now running back.
He does it all.
All he needs to do now is kick the ball. That's all he's got to do.
But anyhow, I think in that, I almost feel like it's going to solve itself. I think
Yeah.
Andre Miller, hamstring issue, question, same thing, but I feel like you just got to take him.
Yeah.
Let's end the pod tonight on, end this portion of the pod tonight on the absolute debacle in Minnesota.
I feel so bad.
I feel so bad for JJ.
JJ McCarthy, obviously, done for the year. Seems like Minnesota's falling apart. Hawkinson's still on the pup. Addison with an ankle injury.
Dude.
Also to note, week 1 is in MetLife. So
I don't know.
man,
I don't know. Look.
do we feel? And this is maybe not necessarily an Addison question, but more so a Justin Jefferson question.
Taking him.
Still take it.
Still
Taking him.
taking him. Are you taking Sam Darnold?
No.
You know what?
I'd rather die.
I would take him, yeah.
Obviously, it's going to be your backup. Like, he's not going to be your starter.
I'm hearing what you're saying, but I can think of at least 20 quarterbacks I'd rather have than Sam Darnold. At least.
So, does it deter you from Jordan Addison? I know, I would assume his ADP is lower.
A little bit,
A little bit. Are you...
Is he
wanna
getting
say that.
suspended or not?
I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I mean, we also have to talk about that, too. Is he
I
getting suspended?
only bring that up because they said Rashee Rice is not facing nothing. And if they spend Addison and not Rice, Addison fell asleep behind the wheel. Wasn't even driving. He was drunk.
Script. Here,
There was that Chief script again.
Look, I just know.
3 in a row.
I just know that if this was Madden and I had a Vikings franchise and I had all these injuries, I'm hitting the send next season button. Like, get me out of this season from hell. I'm done with it.
All right. Next season, anyhow, J.J. McCarthy's back from his knee injury. With all these injuries, you kind of made the statement, like, we should probably just draft like they are playing. With so many questionables and on pup, do you almost feel like that's the way to go? Is just say, screw it, let's just draft like nobody's holding out.
Like high ceiling.
Yeah,
players.
I mean, like, if you, let's just say you take Chase, right? Let's just say you would hope Chase as a competitor is not going to hold out
yes.
longer than 1 week, maybe 2 weeks tops.
Just pick as none of these players have no strings attached.
Right.
Brandon Ayuk, is he really going to want to sit on the sideline or sit in the suite watching his team play?
Chris Jones did.
Well,
Not this
that's
again.
the Kansas City
I'm
Chiefs,
sorry.
though.
I don't care.
That was the script, man. It started with him, ended with Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift.
It pissed
Okay,
me off so
Yeah,
I mean-
and in the Super Bowl, did you see every other play how they were holding Bosa? They got it on camera.
what?
He's got a point.
I do.
I don't know if you've seen it or not. He's got a point.
I did,
It's bad.
but he also said Bosa.
Not this again.
Oh, it is this again.
Comment section down below is Sean O'Mac an Ohio State fan or a Michigan fan? We'd like to know, because I think he's an Ohio State fan. Anyhow, I'm going to stop right there because I'm not going
Okay.
to pull you through the weeds too much.
So that's good.
Go ahead, preach.
But anyhow, so I feel like in some ways we don't even have to worry. We don't even. You are an Ohio State
Get
fan.
through it.
Anyhow, we don't have to worry about the holdouts. I know we want to talk about holdouts so much and all these injuries, but Ayuk's going to get a deal done. Whether that's he's in Pittsburgh, which that'd be crazy.
That
I mean,
would his ADP right through the bench.
well, I mean, but
So,
what? Okay, so I want to maybe do a little reckless speculation.
Ooh, I love that.
I love that.
With the remaining time, I want to do a little reckless speculation. So if Brandon Ayuk goes back to San Francisco, you're a happy man. Brandon Ayuk goes to Pittsburgh. All right, hear me out. You have Russell Wilson or Justin Fields.
Neither one's looking good.
They created like what was it, 6 points between like 15.
Now
It's not good.
Now, does Brandon Ayuk change either one of those quarterbacks?
No.
I don't think so.
No
man.
way.
So if I'm Brandon Ayuk and I know it's either
That's another
Brock
factor why I
Purdy.
think he's staying.
right, it's either Brock Purdy or I'm going to play with either Russell Wilson or Justin Fields. What am I wanting to do? And why am I holding out in San Francisco?
I don't know.
Because, guys, trust me, that first domino's got to fall. We're going to see this thing blow up.
Are we going to have to drop an emergency TikTok?
Yes.
What if it is Brandon Ayuk to the Pittsburgh Steelers?
I'm telling you. I know you want to take this, but you got to give me a second. I wouldn't take Ayuk. I know that he's all pro, right? I'm not taking him if he winds up on Pittsburgh. There's something wrong with their offense, and they can't figure it out. It was not Matt Canada. They did not do much better before
They
that.
replaced Matt Canada with Arthur Smith, who was the head coach, mind you, last year in Atlanta, who never utilized his superstars.
I get it. So they have something majorly wrong on the offensive side of the ball, and I'm not going to put down Tomlin. I won't do it.
No.
He's way too damn good. Something offensively isn't clicking because they got rid of Pickett because they thought he was the problem. They got rid of Canada. They thought he was the problem. They can't
It's still not working.
No, it's just not working. Something must be in the water out there. I don't know. I know they have all of their money spent on defense. If you ask me, they're a top 5 defense in the league. The Steelers are disgustingly good defense. But their offense can't get it going. You can't. We all say the defense wins championships, right? But guess
Not
what?
when the offense does absolutely nothing.
Thank you. When the offense does nothing, your defense is worthless.
Or if, you got the refs in your corner like the Chiefs do.
You're starting to sound like a Lions fan.
Yeah.
What are you, Terry?
I just want to, real quick, while we're talking about wide receivers, it's not really breaking, but Deontay Johnson was named the number 1 in Carolina.
That's weird.
Take it for what it's
Wow.
worth.
Jaden Daniels was also named the starter in
He was.
Washington
Bo Nix
too.
will be the starter in Denver.
Actually, this is breaking news. Patty Mahomes made the 53-man.
Oh, shocker!
He did.
Shocker.
Yeah.
But anyhow, I do want to talk about Jaden Daniels for a hot second.
Hell yeah.
Him being the number 1. I'm starting to get on the Jaden Daniels hype train, man. Like,
He looked good.
he looks good.
He looks good.
Real
Him being
good.
named number 1, I'm starting to really move up Scary Terry on my board.
You know what? I am too.
Yeah, right.
I am.
All right.
Okay, man.
I want I want to talk about one other guy tonight.
You do?
Is it Brandon Aubrey?
No, but
Actually,
anyhow, shout him out.
Run with that right
Yeah.
quick.
Brandon Aubrey, guys, kicker. Oh my! Nailed a 66-yarder. Could have made it from, what was it?
71. I
71.
believe it was.
It's crazy. That is crazy. But the guy I do want to talk about, Caleb Williams.
Ugh.
I know you're on Caleb Williams, but Caleb Williams did show that he has the potential. I guess the question is, are you either in one of 3 places? Are you on the train? Are you buying a ticket? Or are you not even anywhere close?
I know Keenan and Allen got fat.
So I'm gonna take that one. I showed up to the train station. I bought a ticket, and I've got 1 foot in the door onto the train.
So
Okay.
you're telling me you're waiting for them to punch that ticket and let you on,
I am.
like the Polar Express.
I am. Yeah.
That was Tom Hanks.
A great movie, by the way.
Was-
Evo?
oh, you're asking me?
Yeah.
Yeah, no thanks. Bryce Young made the exact same play last season. Everyone's talking about the one where he spins away from the defender, running weak side, twists the body, makes the throw. I will give him this. The ball was better placed coming from Caleb, but they both resulted in a reception.
Are you on the next train station called Week 1?
You know what? Who are they playing week 1? That'll answer my question. Someone stat that
Terry?
right quick. Terry?
I don't think he's here tonight.
He's not here.
See.
Anyway, it depends if they're playing week 1. If I am going to change my thoughts on Caleb. Because if you tell me they're playing the Packers and he's got Jair to throw up against and he makes them look stupid, I'm going to say, never mind. I'm on the train. 1 week is all I need to see if it's against even just one top 5 cornerback and he can make a couple receptions there. Or if he goes up against a San Fran with a Fred Warner in the middle of the field. Like, good luck throwing over the middle.
Yeah.
Easiest passes you can make as a quarterback. So I guess it really does depend who they're going up against.
So with the rookie quarterbacks, Daniels is starting. Bo Nix should be the starter in Denver. Caleb Williams is starting. And Gerard Mayo came out and said he has not picked between him and Brissett yet.
Are you shitting me?
Not one bit. But if you I watched a couple of the Patriots preseason games. When Brissett's in, he starts as the quarterback. The offense does not move. Goes nowhere.
Brissett?
Yes.
Okay.
When May is in there, offense happens. They score points.
They play Tennessee. The Titans.
So no, I need more than week 1.
Okay.
Who do they got in their secondary, the Titans? Byard? Is that it?
They just got L'Jarius Sneed.
Well,
Yes.
Okay.
well,
All right.
Evo, I'll say this. So it goes Titans, Texans, Colts, Rams, Panthers.
He's probably going to look phenomenal in them first 5 games. I mean, you said the Texans, right?
Yeah, so
The Texans will be his hardest go, for sure.
And I'm going to say this. Do not sleep on Chicago's defense.
Yeah, they're one corner. What's his name? Jalen
Johnson.
Yeah, that dude's an absolute animal. He is probably one of the most underrated players in the
I
league.
really wanted us to get him last year at the deadline.
That is crazy. But, no, it's honestly, I've got to see a lot, not just highlight plays. I'm talking just smart football plays for me to hop on the train. Mm-hmm. I know what you're saying. Well, why are you on the Jaden Daniels train? I like what I saw from him better. And he looks, in my opinion, just as good as Caleb in the preseason.
Yeah, now it won't be until week 1 because they
Correct.
announced no starters are playing anymore, as we anticipated.
Right.
So, I mean, I guess my hope is that Caleb Williams probably proves you wrong, but he won't be on your roster either way. So,
Dunze's looking good too.
Yeah, Odunze's a dog.
Anything else we got tonight, boys?
Well, I do want to just say that we are going to have a fantasy football recap coming to you guys on Monday. We are going to talk about our teams.
Yes, we draft this weekend.
We
Yes.
do. Number 1 pick.
I got the number 2. What do you got?
Do you remember what you are?
6.
So,
And I'm
you're sure
taking-
it's 6 and not gay?
I'm 6.
Do you get it? Anyway. So,
Oh no!
I'm taking CD Lamb at number 1.
you're not.
Maybe CMC.
You're not. Anyway, we're going to be coming to you guys on Monday.
Maybe even Hill.
Yes, Tyreek Hill, number 1.
No, I'm serious.
I'm not going to do that.
Anyhow, we're going to come to you with our...
Thanks for interrupting me 100 fucking times, both of you. Anyway, Monday, we'll be coming back. We're going to talk about our teams that we've drafted in the Gridiron Goons League. And we are going to talk about basically everyone's team just kind of seeing where you guys put them, like rank wise. We'll have a website called Keep Trade Cut up to tell us where they rank, and you guys can put in the comments of where everyone else is. And out of the three of us, we're gonna see who has the best team.
What about Terry?
Well, judging that he probably don't know ball, I'm gonna have a better team than he does.
I wonder if he's going to take Brandon Ayuk in this.
I don't know. If he goes to Steelers, he will. Anyway, yep. So, if you are drafting this weekend, good luck. Draft well. Say, I don't care about the injuries. I don't care about all the speculations. Get who you want to get. Let it all work out. Be risky. Win a league.
That's
Don't
right.
forget to take Aubrey as a kicker.
I get that.
I get that too.
That is us from the Gridiron Goons studio. We're out.
Let's go.
Later.